What's going on? It's Justeeni here. One of my earlier videos I said that Quetzal's still counted as Cymanti, but I didn't really play against the best opponent. This time I actually have a very strong Cymanti player. Maybe you've seen this guy terrorizing others in just random matches. I've seen him a handful of times, and yeah, he's pretty good at the game. And I managed to get a game with him. Not actually through random matches, he just DM'd me on Discord. But yeah, we got a game. It's on large lakes, so it was a 24-hour game, so we're going to see some try-hard Cymanti versus Quetzal, who should be pretty good against Cymanti in theory. But how does it happen in practice? Let's get right into things. So, right off the bat, my second city is garbage. Cool. At least my capital is really good, so all in all, my spawn is actually not too bad. And my third city is nice. I mean, not getting fruit is like really rare actually, but you know, I can work with it. And there's a few ways I can go about this. I can go hunting recap, but I decide, nah, let's get org. That's more economy anyway. Workshop things up. And what's the plan for this? Hunting, right? No, not hunting. Pop rune's very nice here. But the plan is actually riding roads. I want to get riding roads ASAP, not only for development, but I want to expand a lot. I want to overexpand, I want to out-expand the opponent to the point of the brink of overexpansion. And I get a nice explorer here. It's pretty much already funneled to go exactly where I want, and I'm just hoping it gets the lighthouse. It just barely dodges it though. I really wanted to get that giant ASAP, but I do meet the opponent instead, so I can connect and get a park. That's right, I'm not going for giants. I mentioned in an earlier video about Cymanti, giants suck a lot against this tribe. Poison has been, I might say, overbuffed because it's kind of just a requirement for Cymanti, and it completely invalidates giants. So I'm not even going to get a giant. I would rather get things that are actually good against Cymanti, like more defenders, cloaks, archers, riders, knights, naval units like bombers and scouts and rammers. Anything that isn't giants, basically. So I go Park of Fortune as well. My economy is going to be doing very well thanks to the parks, and I go for a nice bridge play here that I was kind of setting up earlier. Go for a little smack, and I'm stealing the city. Just barely. They could have actually sent their warrior in to hit. Yeah, they could have done that, but they didn't want to. I think it probably would have been the better play though. They just kind of let me have this, and this will turn out to actually be a pretty big mistake for them, because not only do I get the connection, but this explorer will actually go towards this lighthouse. And I see the opponent is doing the same thing. Parks. It looks ridiculous, but this actually does make a lot of sense, because for Cymanti, centipedes are only so useful. In fact, they're not very useful, and one of the big weaknesses with Cymanti currently is their eco is like really slow. But some strengths with Cymanti is once you get it going, you're basically unstoppable. It's like an off-brand Polaris. The Cymanti is definitely an off-brand Polaris in more ways than one. Video on that later. But for now, yeah, Park. This is legit. And I'm gonna try and weaken this funny mantis. I have enough riders to unsiege. I have a centipede here though, nice and in the front, because this will actually apply some meaningful pressure. Now I go climbing, get the ruin. There's another ruin back here, and I need to get the lighthouse anyway. Get some nice connections. Now, I can't quite get hunting. My resources have been surprisingly terrible. Quetzal has like a lot of fruit, but they were all condensed into like 2 cities. Cool. But I get another connection, and now I go for a giant myself, kind of in response to the centipede. Just, I need to defend the city, so let's get a giant. And yeah, they go for border growth here. And this is what Cymanti is kind of about now, is just getting trade, bunkering down, and getting a ton of eco. I get a trade rune myself now. Unfortunately, I am very far away from anything that can work with trade, so it seems like an overpowered ruin result here, but it really isn't. There are a lot of things I'd rather have than trade, which is crazy to say. And now I have hunting at least. I can start to develop some more. They're developing the Clathrus. They have the mycelium connections now. Another centipede. Now I get a Diplo rune. This one's actually very good. Quite useful. You'll see in a bit. Now I finally am almost towards Eye of God. Forestry. I keep developing even more. Maybe I can actually go for math and trade. But I have to deal with a little bit of pressure here. This choke point is extremely beneficial for Cymanti, but I get a cloak here, and this city looks like a nice target, level 5. And yeah, they're kind of maneuvering around. They can't quite siege me yet. I have enough defense, and they go for a border growth here. So Cymanti's actually sitting on 6 cities, and you'd think with me expanding across the entirety of the map, I would have a significant city advantage, but I don't. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, soon to be 9. Which, yeah, that's a notable city advantage, but considering this one's hardly leveled, and they have much better development than me, and I expanded across like 2/3 of the map, I was expecting to get a little more than 9 cities. I mean, Midjawan, what are we doing here? Why can't he just let the villages spawn here, man? Or here. There's so much room for villages. I mean, I'd be fine even if a village spawned there. That helps them, but at least feels more fair. But no, we can't have nice things, I guess. Now I go for fishing, and yeah, this is a nice target. This could be a target as well. But we'll kind of see how things happen. Trying to get a bit of a navy. And I get a little bit upgrade there. And yeah, I'm holding off this choke point, thank goodness. They have a lot of centipedes though, which are very scary. I chop my forest there, preemptively. And yeah, I'm just kind of going for upgrades. I only have 1 giant to their 3 centipedes, but again, it doesn't really matter. Giants don't matter against Cymanti. I have God now, placing it here. Not going for like any parks, just going for a level 3 city, because it's basically as good. And I might actually be able to reach and get a really nice cloak. There's another centipede. And I establish a navy. I take out their shaman. This is normally a decisive point. This is no longer a decisive thing against Cymanti because their shamans are less important and they're more replaceable. But I do take out their shaman at least, and that should disrupt them quite a bit. This cloak is very annoying, dealing lots of damage, spawning daggers everywhere, which are very hard for Cymanti to deal with. Get a border growth here, setting up for another potential park. And yeah, they're dealing with my daggers very effectively. The one that spawned on the poison kind of annoyed me, because why is it spawning on the poison? My scout dies. It served its purpose of killing the shaman. And then the opponent laughs at me for killing the shaman, makes 2 more. And yeah, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. At least I forced them to get meditation, or whatever it's called for Cymanti. I think it's like rituals? I don't know. It's not called meditation for Cymanti. I get another pop rune, really nice here, because that is going to allow me to get, you guys can probably guess, the centipede is now dead, which means I can now infiltrate with the cloak once again. Unfortunately, I didn't make a cloak last turn, so I can't keep the chain going. But yeah, I need to start really dealing with this because these hexapods are in a dangerous spot. If I just kill the hexapods, my riders can't retreat to safety. So that's why I'm kind of going all in here, taking everything out, sending the sword up, sending the giant up, so then I can like not lose too many units and be all scary. Another park with the Gate of Power, another park, 43 star per turn, not too bad, especially since I have to compete against this Calathris eco, which they've set up quite well, and get some more cloaks going. And they do this really sneaky trick, decomposing the mycelium. So why do they do this? Well, the reason why is because you actually get the heal before it decomposes at the end of the turn. So the idea is you place the mycelium, decompose it, and then at the end of the turn, you get your stars back, you get the heal, and you can place the mycelium wherever you want next turn. So you can kind of just move it around, kind of, if need be. It keeps you very, very flexible. And it gives you the stars back, so if you don't actually want the mycelium, well, then you don't have to place it. So, like, it's basically free healing. But really, it's only free healing for defense because, well, you have to end your turn near the mycelium. If you're attacking me, the mycelium is useless. So Cymanti's got a very strong defense. It's definitely not worth going in with giants. You will see me try to go in with giants. I have one giant. That is enough to at least attempt to go in. These cloaks are a big annoyance though. Poking away, doing a little stabby stab. There's another dagger siege. And I decide, poke away here. Get some riders here to try and pressure up here because I can outmaneuver there. Get some more cloaks in the water. And I kill with the giant just to get rid of a segment. Finally, actually starting to pressure, gets a zone of control, and guarding the city, which is kind of hard to guard because this choke point is just so nasty. It favors Cymanti so much because if they like get a centipede, they kill here, and then they get the segment. I need to send these 2 ships up to take out the segment, or else I have to send like a ton of riders. It's like almost the equivalent of a giant sieging if I want to actually kill it. I can like temporarily deal with unsiege, but then they just get the centipede back, and yeah, it's not fun. However, some people might notice, this giant's really bad. They go for this anyway. And then they convert my giant. I got 1 giant this game. 1 giant this game. And it was alright. It helped me not lose the city. And then it gets converted anyway. Yeah, giants really aren't good against them. They didn't even use poison to kill my giant. They just converted it. Like, you really cannot use giants against Cymanti unless they're for defense. But even then, why not just use units that are already good on defense and get parks instead for more eco? And now that Dumux are arriving, this is what everyone fears from Cymanti nowadays. Before, they were kind of overpriced for what they did, but now they're actually well costed for what they do. And Cymanti has the eco to sustain them because they have Clathrus, and this is kind of scary. And what am I supposed to do about this? Can I even unsiege? At least I can pressure here. So I go in for another cloak. But they have Dumux to defend, so I'm worried if I can keep this up. So here we go, Free Spirit Shiv. And I sure hope I can deal with this. Yeah, they're taking it. I'm just giving it up. They're trying to send more to defend here. Algae here. This algae is very strong on defense. They can't really get in the water too easily, but they sure can defend my naval units that try to get too close. And then they go in for a nice explosion here, allowing this hexapod to kill. Because they don't lose the speedy when they kill, it's very easy for them to retreat on defense. They take this out. They've made a bunch of fungi thanks to the Dumux exploding, which they can then use to make a bunch of fungi, get another centipede, and when my cloaks infiltrate, more poison, which means it's easier to defend, and it's kind of a vicious cycle. The more I attack, the easier it is for them to defend, and also look at this speedy giant go. Yeah, moves 3 because there's a bridge here to help it move a little more, and this perfectly zone of controls me. Oh boy. And yeah, but I kind of have to make a move because the longer I dilly-dally, the stronger Cymanti is going to get. You can kind of think about them as like basically Illyrian or an off-brand Polaris. I've made that comparison before, but it's a pretty good comparison. And yeah, now they're going in for this attack. This giant once again using these roads that I made. My giant that's being used against me. I still can't believe I let it get converted like that. But yeah, more defensive algae. And another big explosive Dumux. And yeah, they just can't quite take out all my daggers this turn, and that's kind of what's allowing me to continue attacking with these cloaks. I can't follow up on the chain with this one because I had to get knights. But luckily, now I can start to take things out because this giant is going to go. I take it out, and I can get a veteran knight. These hexapods are quite annoying, but luckily, like, it's not like they can siege and hold. They're hexapods. So, luckily, Cymanti is able to take the city, but despite multiple super units, they can't actually take any more cities. And it's just a matter of, well, can I attack them enough for them to eventually resign. I'm only up 1 city now, and they still have Clathers, by the way. So their economy is actually definitely doing quite well. They try to go in for siege, try to block. It's not going to be enough, like, at all. But they're just doing this to pressure and be annoying. And yeah, they still have these hexapods. They've been getting like a few veteran hexapods. Like, it's actually insane how much value those have gotten. Another funny mycelium play there. I go ahead and do what looks to be a very weird play with the knight. But yes, I hit this segment because of the way that segments work now. After I chain, this makes a 15 HP centipede because it weakens it. There's like almost no situation where the segment's weakening actually helps you, but knight chaining from the head of a centipede, which is a completely stupid play, is now less stupid. Sure, but I found a use for it. So I can do that, chain from the head, because I want to chain from the tail through here. I suppose if I wanted to do this a little different, I could have, or no, I couldn't have. I had to kill this. That's why I did it like that. I had to chain from the head because of weird zone of control and the mountain in the way. But now I can chain, take the Dumux out, take everything out there, unsiege, and yeah, I'm just kind of cutting through their armor like, or their army like it's nothing, because Cymanti has fragile units that aren't actually very good for offense. It's really just their Dumux, but those are expensive and come out late. So they get another centipede push, but I'm getting knights now in the east. That's going to cause some serious problems for Cymanti. They go for border growth to try and gain some more control. Possible algae spots, they do the same mycelium play for this mantis to just heal like crazy. They keep taking out my units. Now the Faichi comes along, and yeah, they're just making more algae. This tribe is, I don't even know how many cloaks I have sent at Cymanti at this point. Someone in the comments can comment below. If you sent this many cloaks towards a normal tribe, they would be dead. They would lose all their cities because there's just too many units. Cymanti didn't even get their Dumux for a while. They'd like defended the first few cloaks with just hexapods and warriors, and my daggers spawning on poison sometimes. Like, this tribe can defend, for sure, but unfortunately, the knights are a bit harder to defend because of their paper-thin units, and I get a very brutal chain on them. Now, going for the siege, going for another cloak hit here. And, yeah, again, worth noting, giants have not helped me win at all, literally just parks. If you want to beat Cymanti, this is the best way to do it. And yeah, Katsali is really good at not getting giants. You can also consider stuff like Hoodrick and like Chinchi, but you have to remember, don't get giants unless you're trying to defend, of course. There are some like other niche situations, but I'd say as a general rule of thumb, giants are not going to be your best friend against Cymanti, and instead parks will probably be better. And yeah, now I'm getting another cloak here. Now I'm starting to finally overwhelm. Again, not with like tanky giants, just sheer numbers. Because while Dumux are good crowd control, they only have 2 Dumux. And it's enough to hold on, but that's it. It's only enough to hold on. And eventually, I'm going to get a knight through. I still have a city advantage, and I am sending several cloaks every turn. If you send several cloaks like this and you have a city advantage, this is just completely winning. It's just taking a really, really long time to actually finally win. But I get a knight chain here now. Like, this is like the 3rd big knight chain. And they finally resign. And I just play out the rest of the turn just to really, in case the viewers are somehow not convinced after 3 knight chains, and who knows how many cloaks, like probably a dozen at least. Finally, I can finally break through Cymanti's defense. Again, I have to reiterate, like, Cymanti had to convert one of my giants, by the way, to even get an attack going to take this city. But then for me to actually break through them, I have to forego Giants completely because Giants are near useless against Cymanti because of poison, and I have to spend so many cloaks. But this is the way to do it. This is the best way, at least as far as I can tell. These games are going to be really grindy like this. You have to rely on cloaks a lot, unless you can just beat them early, but yeah, it's a large lakes. But yeah, hopefully this can kind of show, like, if the Cymanti player is good, this is how your games are going to look. It's going to be extremely unfun. But yeah, if this happens, then yeah, now you know what to do. Don't get Giants, get Parks. Makes it look like you're not good at the game, but this is actually what you're supposed to do. And then you just throw cloaks at them until they finally fall over. It might take a really long time, but I mean, it was only 24 turns, but it felt like an eternity when I was playing this. I'm like, just die, just die. But yeah, finally, Quetzali is pretty good though, I gotta say, against the funny Cymanti. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Like and sub, and have a good one.